Hi there YouTube, Musical Over here. Continuing the flight around Australia in small planes. We're coming out of Weipa today. Heading down to Pormpuraaw and then to Inkerman station. Still in the Cessna 182. Maybe swapping planes in a little while, but probably the next two flights, this one and the one after, will be in the 182, and then we'll swap over somewhere near Normanton. We have messages from RC Tested and Aaron. RC Tested asking about air traffic control training. Now, to do air traffic control training, you actually do it per division. So it's not a vatsim entirely global thing. So if you were to control in Australia, for instance, you'd have to head over to the Australian vatsim website, which is VATPAC, VATPAC. Here we are, let's do a Google search, VATPAC ATC training. We see the VATPAC ATC Academy. So here's the VATPAC website, the home. That's vatpac.org. Click on controllers, click on ATC training. You do have to start as a tower controller, and then later a TMA controller, then an en route controller. So you click on tower controller. Tower is also ground and delivery. You'll see a thing about how to study the ATC Academy, and then they do an assessment once you've passed the ATC Academy. ATC Academy is apparently a Moodle. Just need to email the department by clicking on that email there. That'll set off an email to the VATPAC training, which is training@vatpac.org, and they'll get you on the way, give you an assessment, and there you go. You have to have 20 hours of meaningful ATC study time plus 50 hours total as a pilot or an observer. It's 7 PM. Let's get going. Hi there, Miles. Yeah, Darwin. Looking good. And yeah, 50 hours doesn't have to be flying, but it can be observing. So just online as an ATC observer, 50 hours. Rather boring, but you do need to listen, essentially. I am doing the TMA turnaround. I finish work at about 4 PM, so I'll be able to get home on time, because we only start at 7 PM. I thought we were starting at like in the middle of a day. But no, 7 PM, I'll be there. Probably flying the Dash 8. Hi there to Girav, how are you doing? And for those of you wanting to join ATC, of course, that was the way to join VATPAC, which is the Australian division. There is, of course, a United States division, which is VAT USA, VAT USA. They also, if I do a little search here, VAT USA welcome. I'm sure they've got an ATC thing here as well. Don't know where. Division info, there we are. Computer-based training. I might need to join one of their actual divisions, ARTTC. So you've got Anchorage, Denver, Honolulu, etc., etc. But in Australia, it's just the VATPAC. One division, entire country. Miles is going down to Bateman's Bay. See all the burnt out remnants of whatever bush used to be there. Yes, we had technicians from the MDM down in Bateman's Bay, so interesting to see how they're doing. VATNZ would be, VATNZ is its own division, controls all of New Zealand, Rarotonga, and I believe Samoa, Western Samoa. Anyway, here we are at our aircraft. Zulu Charlie uniform. Going to be taking this thing down to Inkerman Station today. Inkerman Station being a rather small. There we go. Rather small dirt airfield. Let's jump in. I'll be flying from Townsville to Cairns in the dash. Cool, let's throw that up and that. Cool, power on. Flaps are good, power off. And it's a walk around time. Boots open, throw that in. Townsville's in the standard scenery. Unfortunately, you need to have all of the library files inserted, otherwise you get no terminals. But yeah, Townsville's in there. OZX. I think it was in 3.3, 3.4, somewhere around there. Let's have a look how much is in the tank. Ah, we've got more than 3/4. Easy. Good fuel drain. Front looks great. Oil. Yeah, it's mostly good. About half. It's fine. Yeah, another 3/4 in there. That's all fuel. Chocks are off. Tie down is away. That's the stall warning system there. And it runs. Flaps good and steady, and we're in. Hello there, toilet. How you doing? The old NGXU. I was considering flying something bigger, but I really want to fly the dash. Haven't been in that for far too long. Okay, let's have a look at our checklist before we go. Airplane weight and balance is good. Parking brake is set. Control wheel lock is removed. Ignition and avionics are off. Master switch. I've already done that. Fuel quantity was about 3/4 on each tank. Static pressure outsource valve needs to be off. And it is. Now it's the panel. We'll do that once we have the engine running. Cow flaps open. Flaps are extended. Master switch is off. Elevator trims set for takeoff. Set. You don't have coronavirus yet. That's nice to know. Power set. I live in Melbourne and we have the Grand Prix in next month sometime, so I'm sure that we will have plenty of chances to catch the coronavirus down here in Melbourne. Throttle is cracked. Mixer is fully out. Prop control is fully in. Master switch beacon. Beacon is in. Cow flaps are open. Fuel pump will go on. Mixer will go fully rich until we get a full fuel flow for 5 seconds. Idle cut off. Fuel pump will go off. Clear the area and ignition. Fully rich. Pump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Power off. Everything's clear. clear prop. Thousand RPM. Okay, beacon is in, nav lights and that. Essentially at sea level at the moment. AUR. We filed with the agency that we're flying overhead AUR before we track down south to Pormpuraaw, which I'm completely sure that I'm not pronouncing correctly. Pormpuraaw. Flaps coming up. Get the rest of that checklist going. For takeoff, seatbelts and doors, flight controls, we'll check them. See if we can get our head down a little bit. °30 out there. Okay, fuel quantity. Yep, right up the top there. And fuel selector set to both. We can taxi on out. Not on the correct one. Weipa. There it is. 126.7. Let's have a chat about the weather. Weipa. Q&H zone 1006 to 1008. 6 it is. °30 270 at 8. So we are runway 30. Taxi out, turning right, backtrack and straight off. And make 2 right-hand turns. Left-hand turns, sorry. Traffic Weipa, Zulu Charlie informs Cessna 182 at the parking. Taxiing out to runway 30. Traffic Weipa. 3-hour band rehearsal. That's some fun stuff. Oh, you're a saxophone, you'll be fine. Nobody knows what routes exist for across the pond yet, so I'll be flying one of those. Whichever one happens to exist. I generally try to stay away from boring routes. But sometimes you have to fly what you get given, so... Since we don't know which cities will be involved in across the pond yet, I can't tell you which city I'll be flying in. Because I might say, I'll be flying from Amsterdam to whatever. And then Amsterdam doesn't get picked, and then I'm not flying from Amsterdam because there's no air traffic control there. Patience. Alright, let's do an engine run up. No one's around. RPM, let's drop. Yep. It's a bit cleaner by the looks of it. Oh, they're both fine. Cool. 1000 RPM, I'll lean it up. There'll be a flaps up takeoff today. Just gotta check the compass. Compass showing 08, maybe 075. About there. It's runway 30, and we'll head on out. Traffic Weipa, Zulu Charlie uniform is a Cessna 182 entering to backtrack runway 30, traffic Weipa. You should be able to see the scenery that we're using for Weipa down below. It is a special scenery from AU Scene. It's not a part of OZX. The airports that we're going to are part of OZX. We'll be flying down there, Pormpuraaw and Inkerman Station. All up here on the Cape York Peninsula. Traffic Weipa, Zulu Charlie uniform, lining up runway 30, our departure left downwind. Traffic Weipa. There we are, 30. Let's get the lights on. And a full mixture, let's go. knots on the climb. Township and the bauxite mine is just beyond it. 1,000 feet will start the turn to downwind. Traffic Weipa, Zulu Charlie uniform is climbing out of 1,500, tracking southbound. Traffic Weipa. Stay over the shoreline for the moment. We'll cross up the thinnest part of the river there. So needing to fly over water while we're still low. I'm sure we could glide to the other side, but you know, don't want to risk it. Might as well stay close to the airfield while we can. There's the old abandoned runway that used to be used during World War II. And of course the new one, also used by Rex Airlines. They fly Saabs into there. Yes. Good old roadworthy inspection on a car. Mine will probably need some suspension work as well next time it goes in, just before Christmas. Great Christmas present for Musical Aviator. Hi there, please spend another $1,000 on your car. Nick, how you doing? I'm working tomorrow. I get up at something like 6 in the morning. I think it's more like 5:30 in the morning. I think we'll track coastal now. RPM coming back to 2400. About there. I think I might climb all the way up to 6005, just because we can. Glenn Mac, the reason I'm flying Jetstar a lot these days, well, in the real world, they just happened to be cheaper at the time than Tiger. I've flown all the airlines. I need to get back onto Virgin actually. Actually, I did Virgin for November, and we did actual Qantas. I did Tiger on the return of that flight as well. So yeah, November I did Virgin, got stuck in Canberra for 3 hours. Went on Tiger on the way back, Qantas, and yeah, good old Jetstar. So I've done the entire quote, all 4. Now I just need to fly on Rex and we have all of them. Yep, Tiger Airways is not in great shape. Tiger Airways closing Sydney and Brisbane. 3. No more flights to Coffs Harbour at all. No flights between Sydney and Adelaide. Selling a bunch of Airbus A320s, keeping the 737s. Yes, that's a lot of stuff happening there at Tiger. Not a lot of good stuff, just a lot of stuff. Alright, let's wake up this autopilot. We'll say 6,500 on the VFR. 1, 2, 3, there it is. I think we'll just take up a heading southbound. and call that an altitude. Yeah, my aviation friends were looking forward to upgrading to mainline from QantasLink, currently flying as a Dash 8 captain, and he was looking forward to maybe getting on the 787 or the A330 in November, until about 3 weeks ago when they were told there are no more advancements happening for the foreseeable future. I hope you enjoy the Dash 8 because you're going to be there for a while. Bit of a rude awakening by my career investment. Yeah, brother Sierra, it is very much so. And how we're going to lean off our BGT. Seems to be a bit cooler today. Yep. Hopefully this isn't the end of the pilot surplus, pilot shortage. If we go into pilot surplus like we did last decade, well, no. That's annoying. That's a leaner peak. Gonna come back up. That's peak right there. And just push it a little rich. Done. Yeah. Come over and visit Musical. I might even give you a poster of a Dash 8. Just like the one over there. I actually have two of those. One that's up on my fridge and one that I haven't hung up anyway yet. So don't know what to do with it. Alrighty, so we're heading up out of Weipa all the way down to Pormpuraaw. There we are, YPMP. There's any procedures for here. Ah, yes, there are. One-way 1-4 and one-way 3-2. Based on the weather. (270), it's going to be runway 3-2. There we go. Playing with some silly avionics while we're flying VFR. How about that? That unit's pretty good because it's ADS-B in equipped as well, so if any other aircraft that have ADS-B out, which should be all of them, then they'll show up on here as traffic. Archer River coming up. Let's see what the Archer River is all about, hey? The Archer River on the Cape York Peninsula. The traditional Aboriginal owners of this area are the Wik, W-I-K. Interesting that William Jantzoon 1606 probably visited the river and dubbed it the Dubbelderie, D-U-B-B-E-L-D-E, and then it was later named the Coen River in 1623, and the Peach River by a Robert Logan Jack in 1879. The name what's it? Archer River, stuck in 1865. Government of Queensland decided to keep that name. With airspace showing up on our GPS. What's up with that? Oh yeah, that's right, we're still inside Sugar. That's Friday afternoon, and I'm pretty sure that the skeleton base Sugar is off for the weekend. Look at the NOTAM. R605, activation by NOTAM. Cool. All clear. The sold Cessna 182. I'll miss it in a couple of weeks when we finally swap aeroplanes again. Send this back down to Point Cook where it lives and pick up something else. I've been considering maybe purchasing the new, oh, not really new, but the Just Flight, what's the aircraft? Twin engine airplane. Duchess. Beechcraft Duchess 76. This thing. Having two engines for a little bit might be a little interesting. And you can put in the GNS 750. It's nice to look at the cockpit of these things and see a speed sitting up there of 160, 170. A little quicker than the 182 here at 135. Actually, we should check out. We're at 6,000 feet and the temperature is about 20. 160, yeah, 157 with about 5 knots of the headwind. Alien 21, g'day, how you doing? Let's look at the density, altitude should give us true airspeed of about 160, 161. 154 knots, so we've got about it's not all headwind, maybe half of that, 2.5, 3 knots of headwind. Arukun is the next larger town. I like this. It's here's the Archer River, and that's Arukun just out there, and then there's random tidal flats. There's Arukun, just passing it now. So this area, Arukun, population of 1,269. 1,100 of them are Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, so most of them. There we go. The first recorded contact between Europeans and Aboriginal people was near this site, Arukun, by Janzoon in 1606. The very first white man building was the mission at Arukun, established in 1904, 20th century. So this place essentially didn't have any structures that we'd identify them until the 20th century. Then of course we get into the funny bit, where a lot of the Aboriginal people were rounded up essentially against their will and forced to relocate there. Ooh, that's relatively recent. January, a 2nd, 2020. 2 teens charged of stabbing murder in Arakan. Extra police flown in. Riot. Several homes were burned to the ground due to a riot that started with star pickles, metal bars and spear guns. Extreme massive riot in Arakan in 2020. Well, there we go. Lucky we didn't stop there. Over we go. Nick, I don't believe you do need the OZX Global for Australia to work. Quite happy to just buy Australia by itself, no global required. Global's for everywhere else, you know, Europe, America. Yeah, 748's very nice, I do like it. And again, 744's pretty nice as well. First coronavirus case in New Zealand today. Intriguing. Speaking of coronavirus, I get to meet my friend again in 2 weeks' time. Haha. That drink there is some V. I was feeling rather tired this afternoon, so I had a bit of a sleep and I'm trying to wake up again a little. That's water. And yeah, we're back in the 182. 2 more flights on the 182 down to get down to Normanton. After that, we're going to swap planes, and I'm thinking about purchasing the Just Flight Duchess. And we'll fly that around for a bit down towards. Where are we going after this again? After Normanton, we're heading out to Doomadgee, Century Mine, Mount Isa, Tennant Creek. So that 275 miles across the desert there, totally need 2 engines for that. And a bit more speed than 140 knots. I think if we get 170 knots, we'll be sweet to go. 170 knots and 8,500, maybe even 10,500 feet. That will be the sweet spot. I've got 71 miles down to get to Pormpuraaw. That's us on the map. No air traffic control on. A little bit of cloud and rain just on the inland there. through anymore. Here we go. Pormpuraaw. AD security controlled airport. Part 3. Alcohol is restricted. Heavy penalties apply. Special permissions apply for alcohol being transported on consignment. And restrictions may vary from time to time. They've even given us a 13Q government. Lit mast at 350 feet, 0.8 nautical miles east of the aerodrome. ATS 118.2, CTAF 126.7. Yeah, right, that's cool. Hi there, Subi. Welcome aboard. This is interesting. Aerodrome is on Aboriginal Reserve, so Aborigines actually own the land. Only the public area is the aerodrome proper, so we're not allowed to pass the gate, go outside the fence. Prior permission to enter the township, you need to get it from the community council, which means you'd have to have rung them before we left. So we're allowed to walk around inside the airfield, but we're not allowed to get outside. There we go. There's no weather system at all, so no AWIS to speak of. So we just essentially use the Weipa weather and hope it's essentially the same. Yeah, I think I'll do the 7.4 as well for across the pond. That's my favourite aircraft. However, if we don't get any airfields with 747 flights, then we won't be. But anything from I think Frankfurt or Amsterdam, that's 747 land at the moment. Maybe even Heathrow. British Airways, KLM, Lufthansa, they'll have 747s in the fleet. That little airfield. Is that Blue Lagoon? Yeah, I reckon that'd be Blue Lagoon. Looks it. Kendall River. It is Blue Lagoon Lodge. Hunting and tag-along tours. Quite interesting. Looks like that's an actual scenery from OZX. Just a dirt runway there. It's like the road comes through the runway. Blue Lagoon Lodge. Good place to land for the Royal Flying Doctor Service, I imagine. Anyhow, we've got our top of the tank coming up, the Holroyd River. Good stuff. Joined vatsim. Start the flying. Just pushed up into the air a little bit. I'm going to pull back on the power, sit just under 140 knots. No, I'm not using the NGX. I did uninstall it recently just to save some space. So yeah, I'm NGX you permanently now. Right, we're coming up on our top of the scent. Let's talk about where we're going. Pormpuraaw, coastal town, Aboriginal town. So you've got a population of 750 people. The township has been successful in developing a commercial crocodile farm. They literally sell crocodile meat. Okay. Used to be known as the Edward River Mission. Then of course the Marburg land rights thing went through the courts. They proved that Aborigines actually owned land, and so Pormpuraaw became the name of Edward River Mission. According to this Wikipedia article, electricity costs more in Pormpuraaw than anywhere else in Australia. Average cost of $40 to $45 per week. Medical facilities are the Royal Flying Doctor Service, which attends once a week, the dentist. They do have a small hospital with 4 registered nurses. There are 2 shops in the town. One of them is owned by Anglicare. Okay. The airport has Skytrans Airlines flights from Cairns. Skytrans, of course, have the Dash 8-100. They also have Cessna 208 Caravans. Pormpuraaw going runway 32 will be entering from the north, so I'll fly over the runway into the kind of a, yeah, we'll join on the downwind. TMA turnaround event is happening tomorrow, 24 hours from now, 23 hours essentially from now. So whatever time is right now, tomorrow, but 1 hour earlier than now. 23 hours exactly. We need a Dash 8 300 for you guys over there in New Zealand. You guys don't have 400s. There's a photo of the Archer River. Pretty shallow. Alright, it's almost time for descent. How far off are we? Two minutes. Okay, briefing for arriving at Pormpuraaw. We'll be landing on runway 32. Runway is 1,300 meters. And we do need to backtrack one little taxiway off the runway to the left, one somewhere on the backtrack. Entering on the downwind, we'll call the base at the farm. And we're essentially at sea level. Seatbelts on. And just remembering, we do have permission to land at the airport, but we don't have permission to leave the airport grounds. We do at Inkerman, because Inkerman is a cattle station. Top percent, 1 minute. Alright, autopilot coming off, and we'll start the descent. Pump on our multi-com set. Yes, I will be doing 2 main centre and dash 8 out of Townsville. Of course, the corner selling. Good old Qantas Link. Can't remember the call signs. I'll look them up later. Q-Link, something or other, Delta. I think I've got the township in sight, that white blob just on the coastline. 14 miles out. We need to descend a bit quicker than that. Time 14, or 15. Traffic Pormpuraaw, Zulu Charlie uniforms at Cessna 182, leaving 5,000 feet on descent. Runway 32 at Pormpuraaw, we estimate circa time 15. Traffic Pormpuraaw. Seven 737-800, I'd probably fly out of Brisbane, would be the most obvious, up to Cairns. Rockhampton's a possibility if I'm going to go outside your normal. But yeah, Brisbane should have air traffic control the whole way up. The current generation of PNDG aircraft will almost certainly not work in the new Microsoft Flight Simulator. But we already know for a fact that the 737 NGXU, when they do release it for the new Microsoft Flight Sim, you'll have a reduction in price based on the fact if you've purchased the NGXU in P3D. So it'll probably cost more than the P3D version, but if you already own the P3D version, it'll cost you that much less. They've already said that on the website. So yeah, if you purchase the NGXU now, you get the full price of the NGXU off your purchase for the 2020 version. No such luck with the 747 or the triple. So if you've purchased the 747, 800 or 400 or the Dash 8, you can expect to buy them again in the new sim. We're at 9 miles. Traffic Pormpuraaw, Zulu Charlie uniform is 10 miles inbound for runway 32. We'll call on the downwind. Now, pretty sure that PNDG either won't be making a 737 Classic at all, or if they do, it definitely won't be called the NGX3, because the 737 Classic is not a new generation 737, and the letters NG literally mean new generation, which mean the 737 600, 700, 800, 900. If they're going to release something that is a 737 300, it can't have the letter NG after it, can it? Because it's not an NG. It's like saying I want them to make a Boeing 777 that's actually 767. Because they're almost the same, aren't they? No, they're not. A 777's a triple and a 767's a 76. And an NG is an NG and a Classic's a Classic. You can't call a Classic an NG. So if they ever do make a 737 Classic, it'll just be called the 737 Classic. Which would be wonderful, but I don't see them doing it. Edwards River just below us now. Last time I flew in real life was last year, 2019. Flew to Malakuta. and to Bairnsdale by accident. We weren't intending to go to Bairnsdale, but we had to. Fuel problem at Mallacoota. Fuel problem at Bairnsdale actually as well, but by that stage we'd run out of reserve fuel and we had to stay at Bairnsdale until they fixed the fuel problem, which took hours. The Bowser was broken. The entire credit card system for charging back the refueling was a problem. So that's a lesson that I'll learn. Don't rely on your Visa card to work. Traffic at Pormpuraaw, Zulu Charlie Inform is passing centerline runway 33. We'll follow Downwind. Alright, on the Downwind, landing checklist. Brakes are released, undercarriage is fixed, mixture is fully rich. Propeller is fully forward. Fuel pump is on. Instrument set for landing. Seats and harnesses are secure. Checklist is complete. I think it was October last year. It was pretty late in the year, before the fires ran through Mallacoota and destroyed the place. Should go back there and see what it's like now. All blackened trees everywhere. Yeah, we're not allowed to leave Pormpuraaw airfield, so we'll take off again. We're heading down to Inkerman station. Flaps. Go to flaps 20. 80. There we go. Full flaps. Most of them are under control. There are still some fires that I was checking out in Victoria, in the high country, essentially the snowy mountains. But most of those are well away from towns now. Just that the snowy mountains hasn't had any rain. Traffic Pormpuraaw, Zulu Charlie Uniform is backtracking runway 32. Traffic Pormpuraaw. Okay, bring it up to 1000 RPM. Leaning that back, and we'll start that turn. Bring up the Victoria fires. Traffic Pormpuraaw, Zulu Charlie Uniform vacated runway 33. Don't need to take, I'll just double check the fuel. Might be worth taking on fuel now since there won't be any at Inkerman. You need to get from Inkerman all the way down to Normanton to refuel. Laps coming up, obviously. Got room to manoeuvre here? Not much. It's going to come to a stop. You can see the shadow of our wing. I'm not convinced. We'll stop it there. Drag it forward if we need to. Back to 1000. Off we go. Cool. Let's run some refueling ops. Of course he wants to walk. Alrighty, we're looking at fires in Victoria. Still some. In particular, this one here, Can Valley. That's Can River. It's not actually on the township of Can River, but there's a little one burning just off the little Pyramid Creek. Right there. There's Malakuta. There's some information here about bushfire at the Cape Howe Wilderness Zone. Genoa, Gypsy Point, Lakeview, Marangaroo, and that's still active with the last update today at it's actually 2 p.m. This one here, which is the Far East Gippsland communities Orbost, Wangarel and north of New South Wales border today at 10:30 in the morning. And we have that obvious one here at the Pyramid Creek and one right up here on the border. That straight line is the border. It's just burning a little bit north into New South Wales. This one as well, which is fire started today, 6:41 p.m. That's Mount Imlay, Taroa. That one's quite a large one. And Rockton today at 3:12. A couple of smaller ones up here. Jack Mountain, that kind of thing. Thredbo Village, Perisher. That's the Snowy Mountains one, obviously. All the way up to almost on the border of Tumbarumba. Updated today at 11 a.m. No danger to anyone that's contained fire. This one's under control, so that's not as good as contained. But yeah, a little bit of fire burning just south of ACT. As you can see, there's no fires in Bateman's Bay anymore, Nowra, nothing up in Wollongong, Sydney, Newcastle. It's pretty much nice. It's all down here in the very far south of Victoria, essentially, and just going up into the Kooragang. So that's the bushfire situation in Australia. No centre lines around here, so no idea where to put the aircraft to make sure that the wing doesn't touch this thing over here. But, you know, that's the bowser here, I reckon. Yeah, that's the hose. No, that's the ground attachment point, I think. Where's the actual hose? That thing's the hose right here. Cool. I started the GA around Australia roughly the weekend after Easter 2019. So we're almost a year in now, and we're not even halfway. Although some of the next legs will be a lot longer, so I'll be using faster aircraft for some of those. Thanks for that, Miles. Yeah, the donation drive for horse people. Cool. Horse ranches. In fact, where we're going is a horse ranch, Inkerman Station. Horses and sheep, apparently. Cool. Let's get some fuel into this aeroplane. We'll take it down to Inkerman Station, leave it there for the weekend, and then on probably Wednesday next week, we'll head on down to Normanton. Where's the fuel? There we go. So we're on the right hand side, coming up here. Full tanks. And around. Full left tank. Wouldn't it be cool if you could bring the ladder out and get the avatar to stand on the ladder and just pour the fuel into the top of the wing? That'd be hilarious. Anyhow, there we are. That fuel bowser should have a long enough hose to get all the way around. Let me just put it back. There's the ladder. Put the ground static port away. So basically the ground static is a little wire with a clip, metal clip. You take the metal clip out and you put it on something metal without paint on it. Usually it'll be the exhaust. And we have finished, so we charge out the credit card, click. The Domad went to Normanton. Nice. The Aviator. What's that? Okay, pilot's back in. We'll just need to do a quick fuel drain, because we have just put some fuel in. Fuel drain number 1. That's all fuel. No water in there. Might be worth rocking the wings back and forward a little bit. Quick squeeze up the top. That's all good. Wasn't expecting that to be any different. And the other wing. How much is it cost to fill up a Cessna from almost empty, let's call it 45 minutes of fuel on board, because anything less than that would be illegal, and up to full tank, and $250, 200, $300, somewhere around that range, $250 to $300 for a full tank of gas in a 182. Based on fuel prices last October in Victoria. Fuel price, Pormpuraaw. How do you spell this stupid town? Queensland. Let's look at the actual fuel price of unleaded. And it's error is too big. Please zoom in. 180 a litre. 180 a litre. Okay. I think when we filled it up it was about 142 a litre. So this is closer to the 300 mark. Then again, we only topped up about maybe a third of a tank. Should be fine. It's better than the fuel price at Inkerman station anyway, which would be infinity dollars because I don't have any. Oh, the tutorial for the avatar. You get your keyboard, you press the control button, the shift button, and the E button at the same time, and off he pumps. And I usually click plus times a few times just to zoom into him, and control minus to get closer to him. And then WASD keys. That's the A key, that's the D key, this is the S key, and that's the W key. So W plus A key gets them to turn that way. W and D key gets them to turn that way. Just holding down the W key the whole time. And press the C key and he'll do that. Press the F key and he'll do that. And I think that's about it. Oh yeah, Q key does that. E key does that. Or you can hold down the space bar and do the whole view thing. And that's Avatar. Yes, we are doing another flight. We're going to Inkerman station now. So from Pormpuraaw with full tanks, we're going to be heading down the coast again till we hit Inkerman station, which is right next to Kieran waypoint. So I might even put Kieran waypoint in so we can see it, and then we'll just pop it straight down to the Inkerman station. Inkerman station is a Gulf Coast agricultural station. The top one. Inkerman has horses and sheep. It is surrounded by 2 rivers and a beach. And they run 10,000 breeder cows. Nice. 10,000 head of cattle. So let's go and visit the cows. Because it's not an Aboriginal town like this is. And we can have alcohol there. We can have a beer. And the locals won't riot and stab us. Alright, let's move out of here. Mixed or fully rich. Let's have a chat out there. Clipper up. Started easier that time. I like a warm engine, it doesn't kind of struggle so much to get started. Avionics on. Test on the lights. Trim's on the takeoff position, cow's open. And what was that position again? Kerin, K-E-R-I-N. Sorted. We'll take the coastal route. Altitude reporting's on. 27.8 and it's 28 degrees Celsius. 4,500 and we'll start moving. On the multicom PMP. Traffic Pormpuraaw, Zulu Charlie Uniform, Cessna 182 at the fuel bowser. We'll be taxiing out to runway 32, departure left-hand downwind. Get away from that fuel bowser, get away from this, whatever that is. Quite the claustrophobic apron, really. Like these sailing boats off there. Runway 32, let's do run up. Thousand. That's good. Pop's working. Thousand mixture. Traffic Pormpuraaw, Zulu Charlie Uniforms entering runway 32 to backtrack. Care off to Inkerman Station. It is a grass or dirt runway, depending on how much has rained in the last year. We'll do a precautionary search and landing at the field, which means we make 3 separate approaches and look for the 5 S's. To be surface, surrounds, slope. And the other 2 things that I always forget. Surface wind is one of 32. Traffic Pormpuraaw, Zulu Charlie Uniform is lining up runway 32, departure to the left downwind. Mixture fully rich. Okay, we ready to move? Checking the heading, 32, sorry. 32 is set. up on there. $500. Keep it tight. To go playing out off the shore. Bye bye Pormpuraaw. Cute little Aboriginal incorporated town. As we said before, the Royal Flying Doctor Service is their main clinic. An old salami and pineapple juice. I do like a bit of pineapple juice. Right, we're on the climb. We're going to pull back our RPM down to 2400, maybe 23 and a bit. That is sorted. And going to reduce our mixture as well. Get the fuel flow gauge right down to the top of the green. Leave it there for a minute. That climb going, 4005. It's probably time to start looking at EGT. Reducing. Yep, EGT's climbing. There we go, it's over the top. Gonna be a little bit rich now of peak. I'm going to actually bring it up to a slightly leaner peak. 1000 feet to go. Hi there Rossi, how you doing? We have just left Pormpuraaw. And we're heading down south towards the Mitchell River. Firstly there's Marion Creek, then Coleman River. And then the Mitchell River, which is a little bit larger. Now the Mitchell River flows around Wallaby Island. Almost a, massive island. Kind of splits the river in half. Looks like a big river delta without the delta. there's the altitude that we're after. I'll level it off here. Trim coming down. Take a look at the EGT, going to pull that back a little. Mixture coming back. EGT should go up or down. Not sure what's going down at the moment. I'm just going to go a little bit richer than that. And that'll be peak. 2 notches forward, we're good. So that's the Mellerman Creek right there. Three parts of the Coleman River. Should make that thing there, Wallaby Island. So that there is the north arm of the Mitchell River, and that'll be the south arm of the Mitchell River, and this whole thing here is Wallaby Island. So you can see a small airport, field, whatever, just off to the side there. That's Kowanyama. Township of Kowanyama. Another Aborigine town, just like Pormpuraaw. Population of just under 1,000. About 950 or so. So Kowanyama is actually one of the largest communities in the Cape York Peninsula, 1,000 people in it. South end of the Mitchell River, or the island down there. Indeed, Subi, New Year's was very memorable. Us in Australia, New Year's was essentially massive fires. And the day well. Went up to Sydney in the 747 and watched as Malakuta was evacuated by a Navy ship. So just out of Kawanyama is the Rutland Pains. That's a non-Aboriginal station. Little dirt runway up there. Kawanyama's got a proper runway just like Pormpuraaw does. Inkerman station on the other hand is all kinds of dirt runway. Quick look at the weather radar. We can see a little bit of a rainstorm heading up towards the Lockheed River. There's Pormpuraaw where we've just been, Kawanyama where we are, and Inkerman's down in here somewhere. I've been on 747. The very first flight I ever flew on was on the 747. I was 2 years old. It was 747-200. It's the old Qantas 747-200 painted with that orange stripe down the middle and the bare metal finish on the underside of the fuselage with the wings on the kangaroo. Flew again when I was about 4 years old, again 747. So since the time I was 4 years old and, you know, 2 months ago, that's it as far as 747 is concerned. Discord server. You know me and Discord servers, I'm a boomer in that sense. Gen X. I see your Discord server and I laugh at it saying, well, I hate Discord. It's weird. Fiji Airways, Melbourne to Monday. Nice. I was going on Qantas, Sydney to Auckland. Back in the days when Qantas used to fly Sydney to Auckland with proper aeroplanes, like the 747. So the old Jet Connect 73. Climbing up to 6,000. I think we'll see. Go back down to 4,005. No need to climb higher than that. In fact, I think I might do it by autopilot. Altitude armed. you. So apparently this one's called Topsy Creek. Topsy Creek. So a general Google search on Topsy Creek reveals not much apart from campsites. Camping is restricted to 4 different locations at Topsy Creek. The Wonga Bull Crossing, Comfort Surprise Creek, and a place called Shelfer. Maximum of 4 camps per location. That's Surprise Creek right there. Look at that. It's like, surprise, you can get through here. L1011. Fun. Our aircraft just busted its own descent. So just north of Inkerman River is the Inkerman station is Nassau River, 144 kilometers long. So the North Shore River watershed, southwestern York Peninsula, very sparsely populated. No greater settlements apart from the Inkerman station. The population of the area in the last census was 40. And the percentage of indigenous inhabitants, which is Aborigines, 4. Okay. So it's 36 white blokes and 4 Aborigines. So, the first person to reach this area down this part of the York Peninsula is a different person. It's not William Janzoon like a little bit further up north. Down here, this part of the Gulf of Carpentaria is discovered, first visited by the European Captain Jan Cartens on board the ship Pira in 1623. Chartered part of the Gulf Coast into the Gulf itself, charting between Inkerman River and Staten River. He didn't get as far north as Nassau. Intriguing. Very, very early parts of Australian history before any settlement. To be honest, there's still no settlements here. This might have been the very first part of Australia discovered. Still no one lives here. Townships with 40 people. No roads, literally no roads down here. There's a road to Pormpuraaw, but that's coming off the main road between Cairns and Lockhart River. Or Cairns and Weipa, really. It's very interesting. There is a road that comes out of Gambula. Where's that? Kind of Mariba. Oh yeah, we went to Mariba earlier. Flew the helicopter out of there. Robinson. I remember Mariba. So the nearest road is Mariba down to Normanton via a little bit south of the Mitchell River. Yep, you certainly would know everybody in a town of 40. Town. It's a bit of a stretch of the word. Station is the correct word. It is essentially a business enterprise of 10,000 head of cattle and 40 human beings. Certainly would be interesting to visit these kinds of places, but I wouldn't want to do it in a truck. Enjoy your flight. Thanks for the enormously loud beep. I don't think we're going as far south as the Gilbert River. Cool. So there's our airport coming up. Big question mark. It's going to cut inland ever so slightly. Directly south. Okay, Inkerman station. Here we go. Inkerman Station, Gulf Coast Agricultural Company, Cairns. There's their email and their website. Aerodrome charges for all aircraft, prior permission required. Which we have. They say that they have gas that's in gallon drums, and I have no interest in using it. Unicom is 120.2. Let's get that sorted. No, it's there, IKM. Ah, CTAF and Unicom. Cool. Alright, we'll transmit to the Unicom to see if there's anyone there, and the rest on the CTAF for the rest. 20 miles. Inkerman Station, Zulu Charlie uniform is a Cessna 182 with prior permission. Inbound to Inkerman, estimate circuit time 18. Currently 20 miles to the north, Inkerman Station. Let's switch it over. Traffic, Inkerman Station, Zulu Charlie uniform is a Cessna 182, 4,500, 20 miles north of the field, estimate circuit time 18, Inkerman Station. Physical characteristics, runway 1129, we're landing runway 29. Pop in over the field. We'll do one precautionary search and landing, which means it will fly down to about 300 feet. Fly over the field just slightly to the right hand side. Do the go around, possibly a second one if we need it, and then land. We do need to check the size of the airfield, the compass heading, suitability of the ground or the surface for landing. The approaches and the overshoots, and the general surroundings of the field to make sure there's no flooding, fires, whatever. Or herds of cattle that are sitting on the runway. Now we do also want to check the length of the runway by flying along the runway at 100 knots and times the amount of seconds it takes by, was it 5? To get our length of the runway in feet. To be honest, we already know the length of the runway, but 1,300 meters. Alright, my aeroplane. Let's start that set. Power coming down, mixture coming up. Pretty much got it in sight, I'm sure. It's one of those two patches on the ground. One of them be the airfield, one of them be the station. So according to the website about the station, this beach is essentially broken shells. It's not sand. Not particularly pleasant to walk around on. Somebody wants me to stall the airplane for fun. Yes, we can do that. Let's go full mixture, full prop. I'll leave it trimmed for 120. And there it goes. It's a Cessna 182. What did you expect? These things are stable as heck. Alright, do another one. A little bit further nose up this time. Stall on Cessna is essentially a non-event. Hey, want to do the 2G turn there? Easy enough. I'll just accelerate a little bit. We're already at a good enough altitude for it. Maximum power, going to pull back down to 2400 RPM to settle the engine. There it is. Still outside of 10 miles. 2G turn. Just going to coordinate a little bit. There it is. G10, done. and a bit of 0G. Accelerate on the way up. Give it about 30 degrees, angle of thingy, and there we go. That's it, 0G. It's one of the reasons that we don't train on Cessna 182s is that they're just too easy to fly. Too bad. That's this thing here. It's a complex aeroplane because it's got a prop. It totally is. You can feel those forces in real life. You get light in your seat, heavy in your seat. Great fun. Yeah, to spin a 182, you really need to chuck in a whole bunch of rudder at the same time. It's hard to get into and easy to get out of. So traffic Inkerman station, Zulu Charlie uniform has completed some airworks to the northern field. We're at 10 miles now and estimated circuit time 2. Lucky, get to see, this is the final destination of the night. Inkerman Station, which is a cattle ranch station. They run 10,000 head of cattle. It has a population of 40. And we've just finished doing a stall and a 2G turn. And a 0G pushover. Alright, runway 29 is the runway. We're coming transversely to it. There is a closed runway, which is the one that we're aiming straight at right now. Going to go back to a high power setting so we can approach the airfield at something like 120 knots. And we are going to do a single precautionary search landing, which means we're going to measure the 5 S's. Suitability of the surface, the surrounds, the slope, the length of speed. It's one of the 5 S that I'm forgetting. Basically we need to look at the approach and the overshoot area and civilization that's around us. We already know the civilization. There's a cattle station with 40 people there. They do run some helicopters and some Cessnas. So if we do need to swap aeroplanes, we can always steal one of theirs. Yes, I'm working the early shift tomorrow. I'll wake up at god awful hours of the morning, get into work at 7 AM and I can leave by 4. Which means I'll be able to get home by 5 and we should be ready to go at 6:37 when the event starts. Yay! That's the field there, isn't it? Traffic Inkerman, Zulu Charlie uniform is Cessna 182. We are 1,000 above the field. Turning in for precautionary search and landing, runway 29. This is the runway that they use now. That's the old runway that they've closed because it got too muddy and wrecked to use. So they're using this. Grass runway. There's the taxi line to come back to the airfield, which used to be at the end of the runway here, but that's the disused runway. Station's right below us. Hangar there with a helicopter outside the front by the looks of it. Nah, it's just a fuel truck. Bunch of trucks. There's an aircraft down there. Cool. That's essentially the taxiway, and that's the runway that we're looking for right there. Traffic Inkerman Station, Zulu Charlie Uniform is a long downwind runway 29 1000. Right, we overshoot and we fly parallel to the runway. Speed 80 knots is about right. Count the seconds. We already know it's 1,300 meters worth of runway. I'll do the full thing anyway. 300 feet is what we're aiming at. Traffic Inkerman Section, Zulu Charlie Uniform is turning base runway 29 for a go around. Rain ahead. Yeah, you'd think that, but there you go. They've decided to build an entirely new runway instead of trying to fix the old one. Okay, runway surface is clearly grass with a little bit of dirt showing through. A little bit of water on this side. Is that a vehicle? It is. It's four-wheel drive just off to the side of the runway. I guess that'll be there to rescue us if we do end up at a pothole. Well, it's pretty solid. Looks pretty solid. The go around's okay. There's a few trees just off the end of the runway. They do have some tyres at the end of the runway as the white gable markers. Guess we follow that way out. Get to the end. You could also use that to go straight ahead onto the old runway and then join there. Alright. Put some witches hats out on the edge of the runway up to there. Clearly not using that anymore. Alright, once around. Traffic Inkerman Station, the Charlie Uniform is turning base again, again downwind again, runway 29. We'll make this a touch and go essentially. Get a feel for what the runway feels like and just go around. And the third one will be the final landing. Traffic Inkerman station, Zulu Charlie inform is downwind, runway 29, touch and go. Okay, mixture is fully rich, prop is fully forward, pump is on, instrument is set, sea starters are secure. Traffic Inkerman station, Zulu Charlie inform, turning base runway 29. Flaps 10. Let's go for 20. Be 20 on landing. Let's get a feel for what the approach profile is like for this one. Traffic Inkerman station, Zulu Charlie uniform, turning final, runway 29, touch and go. That should be a go around. If we do touch, no big issues. Looking for the tyres on this side, see if we can see them. I think we're meant to be landing on the brown bit rather than the green bit. Yeah, we are. Tyres are in sight. That's a flock of birds. They said we're going around. Flaps 10. Inkerman traffic, Zulu Charlie inform on the go. Flaps up. Alright, set up for landing this time. Full flap. 65. Just about there. Traffic Inkerman stations, the Charlie uniform turning downwind runway 29. Alright, flag checklist, brakes are released, undercarriage is fixed, mixture is fully forward, prop is fully forward, fuel is set, seat enhancers are secure. And can I come back on the bow? Traffic Inkerman station, Zulu Charlie uniform, turning base, runway 29. Okay, flaps. Go flaps 20. Traffic Inkerman stations, or Charlie informed, turning final runway to another. Train cancelled. Full flaps. Okay, we're in for landing now. Looking at 65 knots. Established. Power in that. Birds are off that side, that's nice. Light as possible. Okay, we're in. Pump is off. RPM. Slinging it out. Guessing they were waiting for us. Hey. Are they picking us up from there, or are we taxiing out to where their other aircraft is? I don't know, but there's a truck that's like in a swamp. Turn the window here. 29 Celsius. It's a bit warm. Alright, we'll just pass through the end of the runway and turn to the left. Flaps are coming up. turn off that transponder as well. No one can see us down here anyway. Get some of these lights off. There's our other aircraft. Can't tell if that's a Piper. I think it is a Piper. Looks like a Cherokee or something. Getting dusty out there. Might close the window. Where do we put it? Can we put it over there? No, I don't think we can. Next to the trailer? I'd rather put it next to their other aircraft here. I can see some white gable markers over there. That's cool. So it is my cuff uniform. Nice. Brake is set. 1000 RPM. And let's shut it down. Cool. Get the sun out a little. Let's tie it down. Actually, before we do that, I do want to do this. Should have done that earlier. All right. Pilot's out of there. Let's put the pitot cover on. Chuck in some tie downs. Wheel chocks. And we'll go ahead and close that door. You know what we've got to do? Close the window. To open the door, close the window. He does hit his head if you walk through that flap. Cool. So there we are, Cessna 182 out to Inkerman Station. Pretty remote area of Queensland. Not much out here except cows. Head over to the homestead. Is that the homestead over there? I'm assuming it is. That's just some random trailer. That looks like an outhouse somewhere. Trees. That looks like the squatters' sheds. So that would be the homestead. That is your... it's coming up as an extra. There you are. Look at that. Not quite a Spitfire, but you know, close. Anyway, back to the homestead, as we were doing. Well, IT service actually flew Mike Alpha uniform in the real world. Based in Zamurray Bridge. Cool. It's always fun to see a real aeroplane that you've actually flown in before. Nice. Anyhow, here we are at Inkerman Station. We'll see you guys next week. Actually, we're going to see you tomorrow for turnaround in Cairns. I'll be flying the Dash 8 Q400. Till then, I've been Mystical Aviator. I do hope you've enjoyed flying down the Cape York Peninsula today. So until next time, I'll say goodbye. Ciao for now.